This is a lecture from OpenTuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
Okay, so let's go through the first of the examples that leads us into the world of deferred tax. But just be careful, this example here ignores deferred tax, because I think to get a really good understanding of why we need this deferred tax accounting treatment, it's a good idea to look at an example without any deferred tax in it first. Okay. So what we need to do is, ignoring deferred tax, we need to calculate the profits after tax for each of the 3 years ended X5, 6 and 7. So the focus is on the statement of profit or loss, and that's what it would look like, isn't it? You've got each of your 3 years for 5, 6 and 7. You've also got, is it there, your profits before tax, the income tax expense, and then the profit for the year. Okay. What we need to be able to do is to populate those boxes. So the easiest bit to look at first is the fact that Tracy made an accounting profit of $2 million for the year, which is expected to continue unchanged for the next 2 years. So my profit before tax is 2,000 in the first year, 2,000 in the second year, and then 2,000 in the third. Okay, there we go. Good start. The income tax expense, we're going to work it out ourselves as a tax computation. Now, you would never have to do this within the exam. It's not a tax exam. It's a financial reporting exam. But I'm going to show you how to work out the tax expense just so you get a better understanding of deferred tax. So the way in which the tax authorities calculate your tax expense is that they take your profit before tax, so our $2 million, and they remove the rules that you've applied. So they remove your depreciation because they have their own rules, don't they, for calculating the tax depreciation. So they add back the depreciation to take it out of the profits to get back to a profit figure before depreciation was charged, so that they can then deduct their tax depreciation, or is it tax allowance, as we say there. So you take PBT, you add the depreciation, you deduct the tax allowance, which gives you PCTCT, your profits chargeable to corporation tax. Once you have PCTCT, you've then got to apply the tax rate, which I think in this question is there at 20%. That gives you the estimate of your tax charge, and you can therefore recognise that tax expense in profit or loss, and if you wish, the tax liability on the statement of financial position. So what have we got? What information is there? Well, we're told that we bought this PPE for $5 million at the start of this accounting period X5. It has a 5-year life, so nice and simple. Depreciate it over 5 years is that $1 million per annum. However, tax rules are different. There we get a 50% allowance in the first year and then 20% reducing balance thereafter. So that's whereby we have deferred tax coming in, because what we've charged through our accounting profits is different to what we will charge through our taxable profits, and therefore we get that accounting mismatch. Okay, it's a temporary difference because ultimately we're going to claim all of that 5 million over the life of the assets. Okay, so let's work out the figures to go in our tax comp. So the depreciation, nice and simple, 5 million divided by 5 years is there as 1,000 per annum, isn't it? Okay, or 1 million. Remember, we're working in round thousands. On my capital allowances or tax allowances or tax depreciation, you've got a 50% allowance in the first year. So 50% of the 5,000 is 2,500, and therefore your tax carrying value or your tax written down value is 2,500. That's the allowance that we've got in the first year. Remember, in the second and third year, it's a reducing balance method, and it's 20% each year. So in the second year, X6, it's 20% of the 2,500, which gives me 500, giving me a carrying value for tax purposes of the asset, or your tax written down value of 2,000. In the third year, is it the X7? We again apply the same 20% reducing balance. So 20% to the 2,000 gives me 400, and my tax carrying value, or your tax written down value, is 1,600. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use that depreciation figure of 1,000. We're going to use those tax allowances of 2,500, 500, and 400 to help me calculate my tax for the year. So let's work it year by year. So my profit before tax is there as 2,000, isn't it? We were given within the question the accounting profit of 2 million. We add back the 1,000 of depreciation because that is not allowable for tax purposes. It is then replaced by your tax allowance, your tax version of depreciation. In the first year, it was 2,500. That will now give me my profits chargeable to corporation tax, which are 500. And if I apply 20%, I have 100. Okay, so we've estimated my tax liability to be 100. Okay, that then gets processed into my account. So I would recognize an expense of 100. I would also recognize a tax payable of 100, giving me profit for the year of 1,900. What's wrong with that? All looks good, doesn't it? We're ignoring deferred tax, but as we'll see, we will need to bring deferred tax in a moment. Okay, so let's look at X6 and X7. Same process. So in X6, the profit before tax is there as 2,000. The depreciation is 1,000, so everything is still the same. This is where things now take a turn for the worse and are different, because our tax allowance in that second year is only 500. Okay, so that gives me my profits chargeable to corporation tax at 2,500. 20% of that is $500,000. So that's my estimate at the end of the year. I recognize that as a liability on the SFP as my tax payable, and then also show it as an expense. So 2,000 less the 500, does that give me 1,500 as my profit for the year? Okay, I'll leave it for you to have a look at now whether we've got a problem. Okay, if there's something that doesn't just look quite right about my profits for the year. If you've got it, great, hold on. For those of you who haven't yet seen the issue, let's look at 20x7. 20x7, profit before tax of 2,000, depreciation of 1,000. Nothing's different there, is it? Tax allowances, however, now have dropped to 400. If we total that up, does it give me 2,600? 20% of that is 520. 520 is now my tax expense. And if I work out the profit, it's 1,480. We've done everything that we needed to do with regards to the question. The question asked us to work out the profit for the year for each of the 3 years, and we have done so. We've followed the tax rules. We haven't done anything wrong. What's the problem? Yeah, some of you are shouting at me. It's like, yeah, Chris, I can see what it is. The problem is look at the profit for the year. What's happening to that profit for the year figure? It's falling, isn't it? Have a look at your profit before tax, that accounting profit figure. Is that falling? No. It's constant, isn't it? But if we look at our earnings figure, our profit for the year, the headline reported figure, the figure that goes into earnings per share, is falling. Why is it falling? Well, it's falling because our tax expense is increasing. So because of the tax rules being different to the accounting rules, then our profit, our performance is looking worse. And that's not right, is it, when we perform equally well in each of the years? So what we're going to have to go through and do is we're going to have to adjust it so that our performance effectively isn't impacted by this temporary difference of us charging depreciation, the tax authorities giving us a different amount in our tax computation as a tax depreciation or tax allowance figure. Because if we're getting in our accounts a deduction of 1,000 every single year to do with depreciation, then the matching concept should say that we see the tax benefits of that 1,000 depreciation. Okay, and we're not, because what's happening is we're claiming huge allowances in the early years that mean that we are reducing our tax expense today and paying more tax in the future as those allowances get smaller and then smaller. Ideally, if we've got the expense of 1,000, we should see the tax benefit of 1,000 within our tax expense. We're not applying the matching concept. So from an accounting perspective, we need to apply the matching concept, but from a tax authority's perspective, don't go through there and change the tax payable balance. That stays as it is. We're going to now create an accounting tax balance called deferred tax, and then that deferred tax balance and how it then moves will impact what we are recording as a tax expense in profit or loss. So that's what happens if we don't have deferred tax. What we're going to have to do is then now look at how to account for deferred tax before then updating this example to correct our issue.